investor DNA profile, because there's so many people that don't know where to start. And they're like, I don't even know what would line up with me. All I know is to chase the return, right? That's the only way to do it. But if I were investing in things that didn't line up with who I am, the chance of me getting to financial freedom is at least delayed, at the very least, if not, derailed. And so I would say, man, get your hands on something like that to help you get started if you're just getting started. But anyway, point being, man, July of 2020, we started reporting on our passive income, and it was not pretty. It was like $2,400 between Russ and I combined. Like we wanted to do this as a combined deal. But I will tell you, one of our business mentors and partners now, Sharon Srivatsa, he said it very well. He says, what you focus on grows, but what you focus on and report grows exponentially. And that's exactly what we've seen over these last 2 years, as we went from that $2,400 a month passive income stream to last year, we averaged over $50,000 a month in passive income.
Now, let me
go ahead.
2020 was when you started this.
That's right.
$2,400 a month. I just want to make sure everybody's clear about that. We're now in 2022. 2 years. We're not even all the way through 2022. We're 2 years from when they started this, and they're at $50,000 a month. Just want to make sure everybody heard that correct.
And again, just as we talked about off camera, this is not our active income. In order for the things on this report to be on this report, we had the criteria. Either we did it one time and it continues to pay us, and so it could be on the report, or it is fully operationally handled by someone on our staff or on our team that does this full time. We can act as an advisory role, like where we would meet with them once a week or something like that, just to kind of hear how the business is going. But we are not in operations at all. And so anyways, that otherwise we would not be passive. It would be an active role.
Absolutely. So let's dive a little bit into these passive roles. So we now know you went from 2,500 or 2,400 actually to 50,000, but that's not just one thing. When people think passive, most people's mind goes to real estate. So let's start with the elephant in the room, real estate. Like, what did you do in the beginning and what are you doing now? But that I know, because we talked offline, that's just one little piece of this passive income model. So let's just begin there.
Yeah. So just my background was I had bought a condo that I rented as a long-term rental since 2004, right? And it was barely making any money. It was like $100 a month cash flow, which once you consider any major appliance repair or, issue like that, that money's gone. So for all intents and purposes, this was just an albatross around my neck, right? I just couldn't sell it back in 2008 or whatever. And so I just held on to it. It just was, barely making any money. Now, fast forward to 2020, Russ and I had been considering the short-term rental space, like really loved the idea. We identified an operator and he was ready to take this on full board. We gave him training. We gave him a salary and we said, we want to build 15 units in the next 12 months. And he's like, okay, I'm up for it. And we're going to start with this one condo that Joey has owned for 15 years, basically. And so I'm grateful that I still had that condo, even though it was making me no money for a long period of time. In the very first month, we renovated it and we furnished it. We put it on Airbnb. The thing netted like $2,200 in cash flow. And we were like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what we thought it would do, but it just had to have proof of concept, right? So once we had that first month under our belt, the second month was equally as good. We said, okay, we're going to expand. And so we immediately started to expand. And I think we ended up with like 12 units within 6 months. And so anyways, that was like one of our biggest first entrees just in the month of June. I haven't even reported this yet because we're going to do this next week. That business alone has 26 units now, and it netted us a little over 26,000 last month, just that one business.
And who's the operator of that?
So Clint Lovett he was a friend of ours who was in the remodeling space for a long time. And during COVID, his business took a major downturn. The bank seized his line of credit, and he was like out of a job.
Got it.
And he was looking for something new, and this was exciting to him. He's actually, I call him the unicorn because he has just crushed this business for us. And so anyways, it's more of a partnership now than it ever was before. But he's an amazing operator. And
are all these units, are they all every one of them funded with your banking systems, or are you using bank financing? Like, how is that capital structure looking?
Yeah. So what we determined is, in the market that we were in and continue to be, that we believe arbitrage is the better model right now, that we're going to leverage into buying units later when we see potentially the market soften. And so what our model is to go into rent an apartment, right? And the first one, of course, I own the condo, but the second ones and so on is we would go to a landlord, we rent the property from them, knowing that it's going to be a long-term lease. And then we tell them we're going to operate our short-term rental business in this unit. And that means we're going to clean it every week. We're going to consistently keep up the property. It's fully furnished, professionally furnished and designed. And we maintain the whole thing. And so then the difference that we make every month above what we pay in rent and expenses is what we get to keep. So we don't own the units. We own the furniture and the systems that run the whole thing. And we just make the cash flow above our expenses.
Yeah, I've heard about that a lot. Now, a lot of cities throughout the country are cracking down on that and not allowing you to do that. That's so in your area, I would assume it's still looked at as a good business model from I guess you would call it a code enforcement standpoint.
Yeah, I would just say that is one of the biggest threats to this business, is that you have to make sure that you go to areas that have already kind of established their stance on this. If it's still left up to in the air, which there's several places even around Birmingham here that are not fully like concrete, then you run the risk of them making it very short-lived business operation under the arbitrage model. I definitely would say that we created a course on it because we want to help people determine that without putting a bunch of money at risk.
That's important. Great. So, everybody, you got that, right? Like they're not owning these units outside of the one. They're just renting it, furnishing it, putting systems and processes in place, and then taking the arbitrage, which is, for those of you that don't know the word arbitrage, it's just spread. They pay X in rent, they charge, X in Airbnb rental income, and the spread is what they get to keep. So pretty simple model, nothing complicated about that outside of understanding the rules, understanding, different restrictions in certain areas. If you're in California, good luck. I know California doesn't want anyone to do anything. So let's just put that right out there. If you live in California, good luck. I don't know what to tell you. But other parts of the country, you're in good shape. All right, perfect. So that's the rental model, or at least one of them. What would be next? What's the second leg of your passive income model?
Man, I'm sorry. My internet just flickered again. I'm gonna have to get somebody out here. But
hang on one second.
You said California.
So, hold on. Editors, make sure you cut that part out too. So in the email I sent you, I told you there's two parts you need to cut out. Make sure you splice that out so it goes seamless. Okay, go ahead.
Well, you were saying California doesn't want anything or whatever, and then that's where I lost you. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's where we lost it. I was just messing around about California because I'm just so down on California right now.
I'm with you. What do you want me to talk about next?
What so here, we'll do it on 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So in your passive income model, what would be the second leg? So we talked about the arbitrage, and we talked about how you're doing that with rentals, but what other businesses do you have that are truly passive, that don't take time out of your family life and your business life?
The one I'm probably most excited about is our land flipping business. We interviewed the land geek, Mark Podolsky. I don't know if you've had him on the show, but he's an amazing guy. And he teaches people how to buy raw land at 25 cents on the dollar and turn around and sell it on the retail market for payments, terms, whereas you are becoming the bank. Obviously, I love this strategy, right? Owner financing the land back to people, making it affordable. And just to give you kind of an example, let's say you could buy a piece of property for $1,000. It's worth $4,000 to $5,000, and you go and sell it for $5,000, but you make it not $5,000 out of pocket. It's $500 down and $200 a month for however many months that is. I can't do the math really quickly in my head. And so you do that over and over and over again to where you're constantly building a note income. Sometimes it's 6, 7, 8 years that people are paying you for that one transaction. Well, we love the idea of this, but we knew that we weren't the people to operate that business. The time and energy it would take to do that is great, but we just didn't have it. And so we went to Mark and we said, hey, Mark, we want to make this passive. How can we make this passive? And so what we did is we partnered with his team.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I've had him on my podcast as well. And I never thought to even ask him that. Matter of fact, we started a land flipping business. We didn't do it with Mark. We went through a different program, but we started that. And, the guy that I was doing it with just lost focus because we were just having a hard time selling some of the properties. But I can't believe all right, perfect. This is fantastic.
Yeah. And so he worked it out with us and now has been able to implement it for a lot of our passive income mastermind members. That now that business, we've probably invested a little over $250,000 in 2 years. And in terms of our cost of acquiring the land, right? And that amount of investment, besides there's a startup fee that he charges, but I'm just saying just the amount that we put into the cash flowing asset has produced over $22,000 a month at this point.
And he does everything.
Their team does the entire acquisition, marketing, sale, management of land notes, accounting. Any defaults, they take the land back and they resell it. It is completely hands off to the point where I just get a report every month and we reinvest the cash because we don't need the cash. So it just keeps growing off of the initial investment. And to me, it's my favorite thing because dirt is not going anywhere. People still want to own dirt and there's no hassle. If someone quits paying, there's no foreclosure process. It's simply, hey, thanks for playing. And you've defaulted on this note. So we're going to go and resell it at a lower basis point than what we started.
No tenants, no toilets, no termites.
Exactly.
Sign me up, man. The only problem you got is the oddball snake, rabbit, and maybe a couple deer on there. Those are your tenants, folks. So
that's right. Exactly.
Awesome.